Okay, so we're going to try to correct something with the game right now. Anytime you change characters, you're going to run into a similar issue. So right now I can move with my character, but you notice this is as close as I can get to the wall. It seems like I'm hitting something, but I'm really not, at least not visually I'm not hitting something. And the issue is the rectangles. So what we're going to do is fix the issue of the rectangles. So right now I have my game screen class open and I'm taking a look in the paint method. Now I know that the projectiles aren't an image, they're just sort of a drawn rectangle or filled in rectangle. And if I take a look at it, I can see kind of how that's done right here. They draw the rectangle for the x of p, which is a projectile, and the y of p, which again refers to the projectile in the projectile class. And then how wide and the length, the length and the width of that rectangle, and what color to do it. So what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to go into our characters class. Mine's called Mech Guy, and I'm going to try to take a look at what rectangles we have, and it looks like we have rect, rect2, rect3, rect4, yellow, red, and foot left and foot right. So I'm going to try to draw those out at some point so that I can actually see what they look like. If I scroll down here a little bit more, I can see a little bit more information about these. All right, so we'll have to kind of look at those and explain these. So the rect is the center x minus 34 and the center y minus 63 for the x and y position, and then the width and the the length and the width, we've got 34, and then we have center y. So center y, coming up here, taking a look, appears to be 377, which is much wider than my picture. And how do I know that? Well, if I go to my picture and I right-click on it and I go to Properties, I can see that my picture is actually 110 by 110 pixels. So that would explain why it appears like he's hitting something on the right well before he is, because unlike 377, he's actually 110. But I want to get a visual on this so I can understand a little bit more. So let's go back to our paint, and we're going to start drawing these out. I'm going to pause the video and just type these up so you don't have to sit here and watch me type through all of them. Okay, so this is the result of the code that I'm about to show you. I have these different colored rectangles, and if you take a look, as I start going there, you can see the reason why I'm stopping is because I'm actually hitting this green rectangle against this tile here. So that's why, even though my character sprite seems to be far away, that's why I'm actually making that contact. So that's something we're going to eventually correct, but let's take a look at the code that allows me to draw these rectangles first. Now, you're going to have to pause this and sort of look through this in order to type it down if you want to type it word for word. But I knew that I had the rectangle 2, 3, 4, foot left, and foot right in order to, draw them out. So I used the draw rect like I did for the projectiles. And then if you look, I just asked to take a look at the left, the top, the height, and the width of each one. And of course, I color them differently. So yellow, blue, light gray, green, red, magenta. And this helps me try to figure out which ones are which, so I know which ones I'll need to edit. And of course, I comment them as well. So go ahead and pause this video as much as you need to get the code, but it all sort of fills the same sort of repetition. So the next video is going to cover what we need to do regarding these rectangles for this particular character. I think in all, what I'd like to do is bring this blue rectangle and make it a little bit tighter to the body. Same thing with the yellow rectangle. I'd like to bring that in a little bit more and bring it down a little bit more. And then perhaps I'll make the green rectangle at the gun tip, and I'll move the gray rectangle in. Now I could delete it, but since my game's all moving towards the right, I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue even if I left it. But I am going to move it in instead of just delete it. That way I can hold on to it if for some reason later on down the road I require it. So that's it for this video. Hopefully it helps you out.